Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Servant Wanted. Today's servant is a little bit different from the previous one, and this one is mostly famous through Slavic history, the Slavic squat. I mean Baba Yaga, the witch, as in the title. I thought it would fit well with the season of spooks and all of that.
I gotcha.
There are many stories and legends about Baba Yaga that is definitely well known within the Slavic nations like Russia, Poland and all of that. And while the stories and legends and all of that can be very different, do they generally have the very same common theme that Baba Yaga is a powerful and fearful witch that flies in a mortal and pestle? I think that is kind of cool. Not to mention that her house is a hut with chicken legs that walks around and is just as confusing as anything else about her. I mean, it's literally a walking KFC. From what I have been researching, there are two types of Baba Yaga, so to say. One is that Baba Yaga is the youngest of three sisters, that she had two older sisters that are also named Baba Yaga, cause why not? They put Mario and Luigi Mario to shame. In pretty much all stories about Baba Yaga does she appear as an old awful hag that do all of kind of, well, imagine all kind of evil witchy things you can imagine. But just like Mother Nature can Baba Yaga also show a good side to her, even if it may be not so common, but there are stories where she do give gifts to heroes and those of purer hearts. And when it comes to powers, Baba Yaga have lots of stories to her as well. As a powerful witch does she possess the power of the elements, and from them, three servants. Those are the three mysterious horsemen: the white, that is named My Bright Dawn, the red, My Red Sun, and the black, My Dark Midnight, that represent the morning, day and night. Some spooky cool servants there, but not only that, another group of servants are three sets of bodiless and menacing hands that can appear out of thin air and do her bidding. Talk about handy, huh? Sorry about that. Honestly, there is a lot more about Baba Yaga, but it would be too much for me to go through all of it here right now. And honestly, there is really cool and interesting things to read about her. So be sure to check out on the internet and the library and all of that about Baba Yaga. There is definitely lots of interesting reading about her. And for classes, I have two in mind actually. The first one is the obvious one, which is caster, doing her being a witch. I mean, the most reasonable is, of course, being a caster when you are a witch, and all her lore is stating how she's a witch that's throwing spells and do power of the elements and whatnot, so obviously caster is the very first one. The second class I could imagine her be is actually rider. This is based on a few things, as she rides mortal and pestle, as well her mount could be actually the hut with chicken legs. I mean, it's a bit different, but I think it would be quite cool. And honestly, I mean, we have an assassin in Semiramis that is pretty much a caster, but just assigned to an assassin class, so I can definitely see this with Baba Yaga, that she's a rider caster in that sense. So the two classes I could imagine her being is caster and rider. Seeing Baba Yaga, do I imagine her using very powerful magic? Either she is a caster or a rider. In my mind, her magic would be using the servant of hands that I mentioned in the history, that she have these three sets of hands that do her bidding. And just like Alfred Nobel, as I spoke about in the first episode, used dynamite as magic source, does she use these hands to, well, do all of her kind of cool stuff, I guess. I thought it could be an interesting way of using magic, and I thought it was pretty okay, I already said it, one damn it. By using the master hands. Everyone is invited, even Baba Yaga. And about her stats, I think she would be pretty low on the physical parts of it, so to speak, and a bit higher when it comes to, like, obviously magic energy and NP. I mean, that is feeling, for me, at least reasonable, and I guess the stats would be pretty much the similar, either she's caster or rider and all of that. And if she was in Fate Grand Order, her abilities would obviously be something like casters usually do have item construction, territory creation, and rider for having riding and magic resistance possible. And that is some of the ideas I can imagine when it comes to her abilities and things like that. And finally we are here with Noble Fantas, where things usually go way bonkers. And I actually have two in mind, one for Baba Caster and one for Baba Rider. And of course we start with the one for caster, which is an... I'm not entirely sure if it's an anti-person or that. I'm not entirely read into the types, because there are like a billion of them when I was checking it last time. Let's go for rank A, because why not? And this is based on the stories of Baba Yaga and her sisters. Does this noble phantasm allow them to breach into this world? And that's it. Nothing explosive or Excalibur kind of stuff going on, but rather that Baba Yaga summons her two sisters and everything is shared between these three. So literally that would say that she herself in that sense become 3 times stronger. And even if one of them die, does the rest of the power share in between the remaining 2? And if the second one die, every of its power will be stacked into the last Baba Yaga. So in that sense, it makes her just stronger and stronger the fewer there are of them after using this MP. And this is a bit similar to Alfred Nobel's, that it's one time use since she gets summoned, and when she uses this, she gets a huge amount of boost to her strength and all of that. And of course, using 3 different Baba Yagas, where the minds is connected, they literally are one and the same, there's lots of uses to that as well, even if she's not as strong then, until she really is alone. And it doesn't matter if the original ones, so to say, did die in the beginning, as long as one of these 3 is alive, Baba Yaga is, well, alive. And for the Rider caster, that was weird. I mean, for the Baba Rider is the 3 mysterious horsemen. Just like Baba caster does Baba Rider not fight alone. Instead, she summons the 3 horsemen, the white, red and black, that will fight for her until she can't keep up the spell anymore. This one is a bit different compared to the Baba Yagas that she summons, that they are like there constantly, and well, when one died, the energy is split between the other 2 and all of that. Instead, these are summoned and using up her energy constantly, so she can't summon them all the time. Rather, she can summon all 3 of them, or maybe just 1 of them, or maybe just 2 of them. It's very, very dependable on what she wants to use them. And not to mention that, as mentioned in the previous part of history, is that each of these ones, white, red and black, are stronger depending on which time of the day it is. For example, red is stronger on the middle of the day, white is strong in the morning, and black of course is strongest at night. So it's all about also to use them for the different purposes when it's good to use them. As well, will each of these horsemen have different abilities and strength and probably personalities as well and all of that. And I thought it would be something interesting that would be a little bit more harder to use, I guess, in that sense, a bit more adaptable and all of that. But I thought it would be very interesting in general about the 3 mysterious horsemen being part of her noble phantasm. So that is for now on Baba Yaga as a servant. What is your thoughts about Baba Yaga, and what servants do you want to see here in the future? Write in the comment box below, it means super much to me, and I will be back very soon, of course. Thank you for watching, see you later on, have a continued super great day.